Print, email, Facebook, Twitter. More. Mona owner David Walsh defends Dark Mofo's inverted satanic crosses. Media player, space to play, M to mute, left and right to seek, 00:003:1500:0003:15. Mona owner David Walsh has defended the use of inverted crosses installed on the Hobart waterfront as part of the Dark Mofo Winter Festival. The 420-meter-tall inverted crosses have prompted an outcry from some Christian groups who said they were inviting the devil and were offensive. Mr. Walsh said he could say about 50 things as to why they are upside down. Firstly, St. Peter was crucified upside down. Why? Because he didn't want to be like Jesus, he said. So maybe all the churches that have up the right way crosses are blasphemous. Or alternatively, it's reasonable to contend that we are at the other side of the earth. From Jerusalem, if you map them, we are actually the same way up. Mr. Walsh made the comments at an impromptu media conference during a preview of Mona's new exhibition Zero, which is part of the Dark Mofo Festival. In the random and sometimes rambling interview, he pulled no punches with candid and light-hearted replies to questions covering Zero, pushing boundaries, the meaning of art, his hotel plans and the ongoing financial pressures on Mona. "I'm limited by resources, not by capacity," he offered. Asked how that was going for him, "Bloody well, thanks for asking," came the reply, but adopted a more serious note when asked if the museum was continuing to lose money. "The museum at the moment is not profitable, but it is not, and I say this with some certainty, it is not an act of philanthropy. If I could build this thing and entertain a few 100,000 people a year and did something for the local economy, which admittedly I didn't intend, but it is a desirable side effect, that would be great. But what will be a damn sight greater would be to have other, richer, more avaricious folks than me say, oh, he did that with his money, created a bit of a reputation and also he made some bucks. Then these effing things would be built all over the world and then that would be damn cool." Hotel Homo on track for May start. He described progress on his new Hotel Homo as fabulous. "The designs are spectacular and resolved and we've got a good architect. We started designing hotels literally before we built Mona," he said. "It's been now a bit over a 10-year process and we are getting something that is somewhat resolving the difficulties we have. In other words, it's what we want. But we can't pay for it, so there's a bit more of a process and I'm basically tiring to borrow money, beg money and steal money, and if you want to have a whip around I certainly wouldn't be opposed to some journalistic largesse. Construction is likely to start next May and take about 3 years. It could be good, it could be great, it could be terrible," he said. "And, without the capacity for it to be terrible, it won't be interesting because there is only risk in merit, and most merit is in risk." Most artists, at which has described the new exhibition Zero as being a filler exhibition after another plan with an unnamed solo artist fell through, a moment in the interview which prompted some more colorful language. "It was essentially a filler, but a bloody good filler, I have to say, because an exhibition got cancelled because the artist was an asshole," he said. Mr. Walsh also offered his opinion on artists. "Mostly what I'm really looking at are the motives of artists, and the most of them are pretentious twats that are basically making biological statements. They are always dealing with, inadvertently, the reality of human motives," he said. "They create stuff, maybe it's because they think they are trying to create beauty, or create a new movement, or they want to do an exhibition on the moon, but really all they want to do is get laid. It's been the same forever. And it will be same the forever, or at least until we blow ourselves up." Aimed for the moon but landed in Hobart. Staging an exhibition on the moon was one of the outlandish aims of the post-war German movement, whose works feature in their latest Mona offering. 0.0 has 60 works from the 1950s and 60s, including a blue pigment-filled pool and a massive pile of smashed glass which visitors can contribute to by throwing a bottle. Compared to the last exhibition, The Museum of Everything, this one feels sparse but captures the atomic age, when Sputnik had launched and household plastic bags were new. Senior research curator Jane Clark said Mona was a natural venue for the experimental art. "They did talk about having a show on the moon, and I guess that comes down to this idea of the beginning of the space race, but literally Sputnik was launched the year they thought up Zero and have their first studio exhibition," she said. I'm not sure how far they got with it, whether they went to the Russians or the Americans. I guess the moon. Well, Tasmania is far enough away, she quipped. The art created by the Zero artists in Dusseldorf was sometimes small enough to fit into a car so it could be driven and shared with other artists and audiences across Europe. They did the stuff which is using new material, aluminium, plastic, electricity, movement, lights. It's the beginning of immersive installation art which you walk into and you are necessary to complete the work. When plastic was new, guest curator Thijs Visser grew up in the Zero movement, and an installation by his uncle Hank Peters, featuring plastic bags of water nailed to a wall, is part of the show at Mona. They didn't want to paint a landscape. They didn't want to paint sea, clouds, rains. They used the rain. They used water. They produced clouds. They wanted to have the real life coming into the museum, he said. They wanted to be practical. They wanted to move fast. They loved fast cars. They grabbed everything to make the life a little bit better, and tried to be a step forward so that people would be influenced or helped by them, to be cured, to step out of this terrible war and have hope for a better future. Zero opens on Saturday with a party for 4,000 people and runs until next April. Print, email, Facebook, Twitter.